So what is going on with my Puff Daddy, my daddies? And I'm honestly shocked because I was hoping to go to New York, even though I have zero money. I was probably gonna have to do a GoFund with you guys to go to New York just to get some things on the trial. But it's over. Now is it over? No, Puffy's I think going to be in a New York prison. So maybe we'll visit Puffy in prison. Who knows? But this is not a laughing matter. So essentially, the jury is deliberating more serious charge, which is the racketeering charge. They're confused about that one. They're taking more time on that one. And it's a very serious charge. It's usually a charge for organized crime, so they're taking time with it. But this is important because if they don't do it a certain time period, like we have the July 4th holiday, so that will be a problem. That will be a problem. So we may be not getting the full final sentence July 5th. Maybe not. That said, is he cooked? Oh, Puffy's cooked. So just looking at the other charges of trafficking and transportation, cutting through all the fat, cutting through the details, which are important, but I would guesstimate he's not going to be getting less than maybe 35 years. Again, without the racketeering. With the racketeering, we're talking plausibly he could be in jail for 50 to 60 years. So this is not a small thing that they take their time here. So obviously, at a certain point, you got to stop. And again, to zoom over to the Danny Masterson case, just a little while, and it's apples and oranges. Obviously, you have to be careful mixing these things. But he is technically up for parole, perhaps in like 20 years. Plausibly, he could be on parole for the charges in about roughly 20 some years. With Puffy, if he does get the racketeering, if he's found guilty of that, yeah, he would maybe in 40 years possibly be up for parole. Which, given how old he is, would mean that plausibly, this is pretty crazy. When he's 100 years old, he might be able to be up for parole. Might be. Whereas Danny Masterson, he'd also be pretty old. But Danny Masterson, in his early 60s, could say, yeah, I want to be up for parole. So these are small details, but they do obviously matter for the person. So would you rather want like 25 years to serve, good or bad, or 50 years? Well, obviously most people say, well, 25 years is a lot, but yeah, 25 over 50. So, yeah, this is no small detail for Puffy. And is there any hope? Well, even with the jury, the issue is sentencing. But given his behavior and given the amount of evidence, it's very doubtful he's going to get the minimal sentence. So the minimum would be like 10 years, 15 years for these charges. I doubt he's going to get a minimal sentence. So he could be getting the maximum sentence for each charge. That's a long time. That's a very long time. Is there any hope with the appeal process? Well, look at Harvey Weinstein. It took a lot of years, but even with the Harvey Weinstein case, what most people are like, there is so much evidence. There's no way the appeal will win. But now he's winning on appeal. Now, I'm not going to go through all the details. And I do believe most of the victims. The problem is there were some discrepancies with the testimony. For instance, in one case, one of the victims, and I do believe her, but she was charging harassment, but then later sent an email to Weinstein asking for favors in a job. So that's going to create doubt that, well, how serious is this? On the one hand, yes, you're saying he's harassing you, but you're asking for favors in a very friendly manner. So it's like, okay, that's a little confusing. And also, it's not to say they were lying, but some of these actresses are selectively remembering events. So, for instance, Harvey's like, well, yeah, they said this alleged incident happened, but then a couple months later, we're at a party. And you can see he's physically touching her. He doesn't seem to care. So, yeah, there's a lot of discrepancies. Again, I think he's guilty of most of the charges. So that's there. He's won appeal on a few things. He's not winning appeal on everything. So want to be careful. But yes, on some decisions, the appeal process has worked. It says, there's not enough evidence. He's still guilty of many things, but he's not guilty of everything. So has Puffy got any hope? I don't think so, because good or bad, with Harvey Weinstein, a lot of this is witnesses. A lot of this is witnesses making statements. So there's that. With Puffy, we have full-on physical evidence. We got a videotape. We've got a videotape, and we've got other piece of physical evidence. We've got a raid. I mean, as far as I know, Harvey Weinstein, they never raided his home. So we've got a full-blown Homeland Security raid. Federal agents testified. And physical evidence. So he can appeal these things. Danny Masterson is appealing. But The appeal process is more likely for them, good or bad, than for Puffy. I mean, he could do it, but at most, he's only going to shave off a couple years. And okay, the prosecutors or the judge, maybe they were a little biased. We can recognize there's bias. Again, hopefully people are not going to counsel me. I definitely felt at times the prosecutors they're getting a little too, they're getting away with a little too much. But these are serious charges. I definitely think he's guilty. But even with due process being violated, maybe one charge is going to get knocked out? Even against the appeal on one charge, he'd still be serving, 45 years in jail. But let's get to the real question, which is he going to talk now to the federal agents? Right? Because that's really been the question hanging in the background. Obviously, we know he worked with other people. There were many celebrities at these parties. A lot of celebrities like, oh, no, I left early. No, I wasn't. Oh, I'm not on the tape. So is Puffy going to backstab those people? Is he going to lie? Because at this point, Jay-Z and Beyonce, right, it's a massive list of people, massive list of celebrities. I mean, for God's sakes, Taylor Swift went to some of these Puffy parties. They have events together. Leah, there are so many people that hung out with Puffy. Jennifer Lopez. It's a lot of people. Scientologist Danny Masterson. There's a lot of people. Ashton Kutcher, obviously. So there's a lot of people. I have no dog in the fight. I'm not defending anyone here. But yeah, that's the question. Is he going to name names to save himself? Well, he hasn't so far. But I don't know. If the sentence goes from 30 to 50 years, he might talk. He'd be like, 30 years? I'll do 30 years. 50 years? And I will just say, it would be peak irony if he tries to blame 50 Cent. Because 50 Cent has emerged as one of Puffy's greatest enemies here. Would Puffy name 50 Cent, even lie about him, just to get a few less years? Well, they don't get along. So there we go. I mean, I don't know. This is not a laughing matter, but I can't help but laugh a little bit. This is so insane. I would never predict it 2 years ago. You think Puff Daddy's going to go to jail for 50 years? No. I mean, we all know he's guilty, but okay, even if he goes to trial, even if he goes to prison, that guy's, 10 years, 7 years? He could very well get 50 plus years. 50 years. And I cannot help but remark on the deep, dark irony that he's getting 50 years because 50 Cent is like, you're guilty. I'm going to do everything to get you in prison. So, yeah, that's where we are. Yeah. So, I do not envy Puffy. He's looking at 60 years in jail. Minimum. He could be getting a minimum of 60 years in jail. Like, holy cow. That is insane. But again, he is insanely evil. He has many victims. There's many witnesses. Even on appeal, like what? Oh, okay. Oh, it's not 60 years. It's 55 years. Yep. All that money. He's going to have 55 years in jail. And this is not the whole thing. We still have the civil lawsuits. This is the criminal case. We still have the civil lawsuits. There are other criminal charges. There's other things he's going to have to go through. So we're not done with the Puff Daddy saga. In fact, it's just beginning. So yeah. But there we are. Just on a fun note, some people might be asking, like, why do you have the white hair? Oh, he has the white hair because apparently he was dyeing his hair all those years. Yeah, he was dyeing his hair black, but he can't do that anymore. So it's going to be pretty shocking when we get the photos of Puffy again. We're going to be like, that does not look like Puffy. It's like, yeah, he's been dyeing his hair. So, yeah, there we are. So one stage of the Puffy downfall is over, but phase 2 is beginning. We're just getting started.